So this is the second part of the test review for average rate of change. This is the average rate of change from an equation. So to do this, we're going to actually make a table. So again, just like I talked about in the last video, these two values are x values. It's the range on the x-axis that we're talking about. So to find the average rate of change, what we're going to do is we're going to start by making a table, XY table, and we're going to put these two values in for x. Okay, then what we're going to do is we're going to plug those values into the equation to figure out what the y value should be. So when we plug it in, we'd put in -2 squared plus 2 times -2 minus 2. Now, here's the key piece of information that you guys are going to need to do this unit. And I'm sure you guys have figured this out if you have done the rest of the problems in this unit. But if I plug in -2 and squared in my calculator, it tells me it's -4. And that is wrong. Not right. And the reason it's wrong is your calculator thinks of that negative symbol as like a -1 multiplying it. So with the order of operations, it squares and then multiplies. If you want to do it correctly in your calculator, you have to use a parenthesis, -2 parenthesis squared, and you get 4. So that's why I usually write things when I plug them in as in parentheses, because that means multiplying 2 when it's right next to a number, and it helps me when I'm plugging things into my calculator. Okay, so remember to use your parentheses. Now, once I have it all set up here, I just plug it into my calculator just like I had it. So -2 squared plus 2 parentheses -2, and then minus 2, and your calculator will do all the work for you. Okay, if you just plug it in your calculator just like that, push enter, it gives you the right answer. It's going to be -2. Okay, that is the right answer. Okay, then you're going to do the same thing with 0. Of course, this one's, I don't know if you necessarily need to use your calculator so much on this one because it's going to be pretty obvious. 0 squared is 0, 2 times 0 is 0, and then 0 minus 2 is -2. So it is also -2. Okay, now to find the slope from a table, or the average rate of change from a table, it's the rise over the run, or the y over the x, right? It's the change in y over the change in x. So these y's are changing by nothing, and my lights just went out. Sorry, I'm gonna step away for a second and wave at it. There we go. And they come back up. Okay, so plus 0, and then from here to here it's adding 2. It's not going to matter too much because when you put it together, it's the y over the x, so change in y, which is 0, over the change in x is 2. 0 over 2 simplifies to 0, and that would be your answer. Basically, these 2 points form a straight line, and you would get 0 slope. Okay, let's look at another one. So this one, same idea here. So x, y, we're going to use these x values this time, 1 and 4, and we're going to plug them in. Notice this negative in front of the x. When you plug it in, it needs to stay in front of whatever number you plug in. So it'll be negative parenthesis 1 parenthesis squared. That's very important because that negative is not necessarily part of the number that you're plugging into x. It's in front of it. And just like when you plug it into your calculator, that negative is going to apply to it after it is squared. Okay? And then plus 2 times 1, and then plus 2. So this is very similar to the last problem, but when we go through and plug this in, so negative parenthesis 1 squared, and then plus 2 parenthesis 1 plus 2, we're going to get 3. Okay? And then you do the same thing with 4. So negative parenthesis 4 squared plus 2 times 4 plus 2. So when we plug it in, negative parenthesis 4 parenthesis squared plus 2 parenthesis 4 plus 2, you get negative 6. So those are my two y values. So now when I do my change in y, to go from 3 to negative 6 is going down 9. If you're ever not sure how many down or up it goes, you can always take the second number and subtract the first. If I do negative 6 minus 3, it is subtracting 9. So minus 9. Same idea here. 4 minus 1 is 3. So plus 3, because it's positive 3. Okay, so when I put these together, it'd be negative 9 over 3, which is simplified down to negative 3. That's your answer. Okay, let's try this next one. So our 2x values are 0 and 2 this time. So 0, 2. I'm going to plug in the 0 in for x now, so it'll be 2 times 0 to the third power plus 3. And then I also have, for the other one, it'll be 2 times 2 to the third power plus 3. So you'd set it up just like that. Then, okay, sorry about that. So when we plug these into our calculator, I can already tell what this one's going to be. 0 to the third power is 0. 2 times 0 is 0. So that one's going to be 3. The second one, 2 parenthesis 2 to the third power plus 3, and you would get 19. So this one is going to be 19. Okay. Now I do my change in y over my change in x. So 3 to 19 would be adding 16. 0 to 2 would be adding 2. So it would be 16 over 2, or simplified, that would be 8 over 1, or 8. Okay? Not too bad, right? This one is a linear equation. So I can tell you the slope right now is going to be negative 2 over 3. Because that's the slope that's there. But I'll show you that it works the same way. So table, and I'm going to use 3 and 6 for my x values, and then I'm going to plug them in. So I have negative 2 over 3 times 3 minus 2, and negative 2 over 3 times 6 minus 2. When I plug those in, negative 2 over 3, parentheses 3 minus 2. I get negative 4. And then negative 2 over 3, parentheses 6 minus 2, I get negative 6. So that went down 2 spots, so minus 2. This side went up 3 spots, negative 2 over 3. That's what I got. Hey! Okay, but again, if it's a linear equation, you don't even have to bother with the table. It's just that number that's multiplying with the x is your answer. That's only with linear equations, though, which there will probably only be one of them on your test, just so you know. Okay, this one we have an exponential equation. So x, y, we're going to use 0 and 2, 0, 2. And then when we plug them in, 2 to the 0 power minus 1. Anything to the 0 power is 1, right? So 1 minus 1 is going to be 0. Don't even need a calculator for that one. I don't really need a calculator for this one either. 2 to the second minus 1. 2 to the second power is 4, minus 1 is 3. Okay. So my change is going to be plus 3 on the y, and then plus 2 on the x. So it would be 3 over 2. Would be your average rate of change, or slope. Okay, last one. This one we're going to use negative 1 and 2. And we're going to plug them into this equation here. So it'll be parentheses negative 1 squared minus 1. And parentheses 2 squared minus 1. So negative 1 squared is going to be like negative 1 times negative 1, which is positive 1, minus 1 is 0. 2 squared is 4, minus 1 is 3. Okay. And then when I check my average rate of change, this is going up 3, and this side is going up 3. So it would be 3 over 3, which simplifies to 1. And that would be your answer. Okay. If you have any questions, let us know. We're here to help. We want to help. And I believe you guys are going to do great on this test. So I will see you guys out there.